Veterinarians of Reddit, what is one thing you wish people would know/understand about their pet?
About their pet, the best one I know is one I heard a while ago. You have your life, your job, your friends, your family to provide your social interaction per day. Your dog only has you. Interact with your dog for more than 5 minutes per day and maybe your dog will not go out barking every 5 seconds.
If your pet eats your weed stash, let the vet know. They are not going to call the police. They need to know everything they can to diagnose your pet. Don't complain about your dog not having boundaries when you're literally feeding them scraps off your plate at dinner time. That's 100% on you.
RVT here. Exotic animals, reptiles, birds, small mammals such as rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs and rodents, may be easy to acquire and assumingly easier to take care of, but most of these animals have very specific housing and dietary needs that need to be met and require enrichment. Also, not every veterinarian has experience with exotic animals, and exotic animal medicine is sometimes at a premium but is still necessary. I've met a lot of people who get a small mammal or a small bird for like $20 from the pet store and then won't pay for medical care because it costs way more than the pet was purchased for. Edit. One more thing I want to add. Yes, rabbits/hamsters/guinea pigs/digas/mice/rats/ any other rodents are exotic animals. Physiologically they are quite different from a dog or cat and require very different medical care. Vaccines you get at the drugstore on the corner or the feed and tack shop are not as good or the same as the ones you get at the vet. Just because your dog is scratching its ears does not mean it has ear mites. Your cat is not urinating outside the box because it's a jerk. It might be, it probably has an infection. Not eating for 3 days while vomiting and having diarrhea is a huge deal. That 5 pounds Chihuahua or even 80 pounds lab can't lose that many fluids without having any intake and be okay, and neither would you. RVT here. There are so many. 1. It is not cute or sweet to have an obese pet. It can cause joint issues and heart disease among many things. Stop showing love through overfeeding, especially human junk food. 2. Dogs are living creatures who need preventative medical care just like you do. And sometimes they get sick like you do. If you can't contribute the bare minimum to take care of them, maybe you should think again about owning one. 3. Get your puppy at stam distemper/parvo vaccines.
Not a vet, but my mom is. One thing that really frustrates her is the myth that neutering a cat will make them fat and lazy. It reduces the amount of calories they need, which means they need less food and/or more exercise to maintain the same weight. Cats generally get less energetic as they get older regardless, but most will still perk up if you make the effort to wave a toy in their face every so often.
I'm a vet. 99% of patients are okay with drop-off appointments due to COVID. The number of clients claiming, "My pet has severe anxiety.
I can't believe you're making him go in alone,"
is quite high. Almost all pets are fine. And the ones who aren't fine, I've allowed owners in the building to help.
There's been 2 since March who actually were in distress despite people complaining daily about it
being an issue. Also, I think people need to learn more about the medical process in general. Tests are usually required to make a diagnosis. Sometimes even with tests the diagnosis is gray. Sometimes spending all the money will not guarantee success. Many times there's not a magic shot I can give to fix it. Not a vet but a disgruntled former pet store employee.
Don't ever work in one.
You will lose faith in humanity so fucking fast. 1. Animals are living things, not house, yard decorations.
They need food and space and attention and medical care just like you do.
It doesn't matter if it's just the dollar eggs, hamster, lizard, fish, whatever. If you can't afford these things, don't get the fucking animal. 2. Animals need way more space than what's currently suggested by stores. A betta fish needs a 10-plus gallon tank.
Living in puddles is a myth that won't die, and any tank less than 10 grams is cruel and abusive.
A hamster or mouse needs at least a 36 by 24 inches habitat, as deep as you can find, with plenty of extra bedding for burrowing. Katy cages are extremely inhumane. Birds need large cages and should not be confined to them for the majority of the day. Rabbits and guinea pigs need a fuck ton of space, to the point that a moderately sized bedroom is only adequate, etc., etc., etc. Very few of these animals are domesticated. Tame equals domesticated. Especially birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. And their needs should be matched as closely to their wild counterparts as possible. 3. Do your research. You should never ever rely on a pet store employee for anything more than is X species in stock. Some stores admittedly go above and beyond with their pet care department training, but most do not.
My store gave me no training at all, and I spent many hours researching what we sold to be able to
sell to customers responsibly. Many fish in the trade are schooling and need 6 to 12 plus more of the same fish to feel safe in. Unstressed. Water temperature and pH is fucking important. You can't just throw whatever fish you want together. Most reptiles and a lot of amphibians are solitary, as are hamsters, which means you must buy another habitat if you want to keep more than one. The effects of cohabiting range from stressed as fuck to death. Having a bird is like having a goddamn child in terms of their neediness. Hermit crabs are a massive commitment. They are social, require large spaces, and precise humidity, temperature, and diet, or they fucking dehydrate and die. Point 4. Please understand what food your animal eats before you bring it home. You cannot feed a cat dog food. You can't feed a rabbit hamster food. And you shouldn't be feeding any reptile or amphibian the prepackaged shit from the store. The more exotic the animal,
the more likely you will have to feed it fresh,
pre-killed, frozen, or live food. If you don't want to touch worms or crickets or dead mice, do not get an animal that eats them. Point 5.
Stop getting mad at your animal for acting like an animal.
Cats need to scratch. Dogs bark.
And all animals bite, scratch when they feel threatened.
My cat makes the most annoying fucking sound when she plays, but she's having a good time with her
toys, and it's not for me to take that away from her.
If you don't like barking,
don't get a dog.
If you can be arsed to take 5 seconds of your life to teach your cat to use a scratcher over your furniture, don't get a cat.
If you absolutely need to be able to cuddle your animals,
don't get reptiles, fish, amphibians, some species of birds. Learn what the animal does, the sounds it makes, the way they play, the way they demand attention from humans. And if you don't like them, pick a different animal. 6. Animals get stressed. I used to have customers laugh at me when I said this. Animals get mega stressed when their needs aren't met. And stress is one of, if not the biggest killer of non-dog, cat pets. Animals get stressed if they don't have enough cover. If they're a social animal and kept alone. If they're solitary but kept in a group. If their habitats are too small. If their temperature, humidity, pH is wrong. If their food is wrong for their species. If they're handled too much, etc., etc., etc. Stress leads to a weakened immune system, illness, and death, and is 100% preventable with a little research. Point 7.
If you own a pet and it's not a bird, mammal,
it doesn't love you, not the way you're thinking of love. Reptiles, amphibians, and fish don't produce serotonin the way mammals and some birds do. They really do not care about you. They don't want to be snuggled. They don't want to be your friend. And it doesn't make a difference to them if you feed them, do their maintenance, or someone else does. Yes, they can learn to recognize you as their primary caregiver. My axolotls all know who I am and swim up to the glass if I'm there, which they don't do with anyone else. And they may come to trust you, which is arguably more valuable than love. but we do not know enough about them to say that they can love you. We just know that they can't love you the way you love them. They're biologically incapable of it. And that's not a bad thing. Just different. Point 8. Anthropomorphizing your pets will probably kill them. Your snake is not lonely in its habitat and does not want to be pulled from it to hang out. Your salamander is not hiding 24/7 because it's shy. Your cat is not pissing on your bed because it's mad at you. And your rabbit does not chew cords because it likes the chewy plastic coating.
Do not apply human emotions to your pets like that. They are not human and they do not experience
the world like we do. Your snake is a solitary animal.
Look, don't touch.
That wants to be left alone in its warm habitat. Your salamander is probably hiding because you didn't put enough enrichment, caves, other hiding places, plants, in its tank. Your cat is probably pissing on your bed because it's sick and definitely needs to go to the vet.
And your rabbit chews cords because that's what rabbits fucking do, so hide the damn things when you
let it run around. Point 9. Hamster balls are terrifying and border on inhumane. How would you like to be trapped in a poorly ventilated ball hardly bigger than you are, with no control over its direction or understanding of how to gain control, and at the mercy of large predators, humans, cats, dogs, that likely see you as a toy?
Most hamsters pee while they're in them too.
So they're in a poorly ventilated, uncontrollable ball that reeks of piss until you decide to put them back in their cage.
10.
Tortoises live for fucking ever and require an obscene amount of space and fresh food,
not feeder fish,
which are kept in terrible, overcrowded conditions and prone to parasites because of it. 11. Fish do not grow to the size of the tank. Fish grow to size of their species. Imagine that as a baby. Your parents never ever bought you new shoes and at 5 years old you're still wearing the tiny,
cute sneakers you wore at 12 months.
Did your feet just stop growing between years 1 through 5? No, your feet kept growing
and crammed into those tiny shoes.
They likely grew extremely deformed and very painfully. The exact same thing happens to fish. It's called stunting their growth and is regarded as abusive and inhumane when we do it to literally any other animal, including humans. Don't do it to fish. Point 12. Because I know someone will ask, why do companies manufacture and sell items that are bad, dangerous, inhumane for the animals they're labeled for? And the answer is, because people keep buying them. Pet care and comfort, even for dogs and cats, wasn't something most people gave a real shit about until the late 90s. Experts and dedicated long-time hobbyists now understand that most of what we used to know was good for animals is actually bad. Remember how everyone used to give their dogs rawhide bones? And now we know that those bones are prone to splintering and injuring the dogs. And are mostly glue? Seriously.
Boil one.
You'll melt it. Bones shouldn't do that. Or how everyone used to feed their cats Friskies or Meow Mix, and now we know that those foods are mostly fillers and completely crap. The same sort of epiphanies happened in the exotics hobbies. But manufacturers don't care and are still producing the same shit they were 5 and 10 in 20 years ago. And retailers are selling it because of the popular opinion that the farther away from dog and cat an animal, the more they can count on a customer's lack of knowledge.
These are the same people that would pay you nothing to work for them if they were legally able.
Remember, they don't care about you or your pet. They care about money. Plus, if your pet dies,
you have to come back and buy a new one.
It's in their best interest to ingrain mistreating animals. They don't want you to buy a goldfish that lives for 10+ years. Yes, well-cared for goldfish are supposed to live that long. They want your goldfish to get sick so they can sell you a fuck ton of medicine that likely isn't even for what's wrong with it, and then die, so they can sell you another one and justify buying a new goldfish from the supplier. The internet is not a place for you to self-diagnose and treat your pet.
I saw way too many things happen to pets that didn't need to.
Like putting oregano or oil in your dog's ear to treat an ear infection. Or water.
Or letting your other dog lick its ears clean.
Giant dogs and little dogs are both expensive, but giant breeds require more quantities of meds if needed. Be aware of common ailments for your breed. No, you don't need your pet to produce a litter once. They don't care if they have one or not. For the love of all that is holy, stop using chain and extending leashes. Please, don't let your dog loose into the clinic either. Or your children. We aren't babysitters. We cry with you when you lose your pet. We take every loss with us. If you aren't there during the procedure, we are still holding them close, petting them and talking to them the whole time. If your dog is super stressed or can be nippy, let us know before we begin the exam. A muzzle is safer for everyone involved if it is needed. If you get a puppy,
touch them everywhere all of the time.
Lightly restrain. Lift up and down onto different surfaces. Get them used to noises. It will make the vet a better experience for them. The best time to get pet insurance is when they are young, before anything has happened. If you do, read your policy. If you don't understand something, ask questions. There will be a waiting period before your pet's coverage starts, so you cannot get pet insurance the day of and have it be covered.
Vets don't get a bonus or reward for selling prescription dog food.
They have them so they can aid in the treatment of whatever your pet is dealing with. Those are the companies doing the research to create specialized diets and until more holistic brands do. This is what's out there. Be nice to vets and their staff.
Vets have one of the highest suicide rates of any profession.
Techs don't do it for the money. They usually aren't paid well enough, and the average time a person stays in that career is only 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Please don't bring your cat in a bag of dog food if you don't have a carrier.
The vet can probably lend you one or bring the cat in a pillowcase.
Edit. I'm getting quite a few comments on why it is bad to let dogs clean each other's ears, so I'll clarify on here. Adding moisture to their ears like that is setting them up for infections if they don't already have one. Typically, yeast can be sweet tasting, so it's good to pay attention to that. It's hard because it will look clean and like there isn't an infection, but that's not necessarily the case.
If they are constant about it,
look for redness and thickened skin in the ear. A dog's ear flap should be tan-colored. It's slightly pink and soft and smooth. Smell it. If it's sour, you most likely have a problem. In regards to chain leashes and retractable leashes are straight up dangerous for everyone. They are usually cheaply made, so if your dog suddenly sprints at something or someone, they either hit the end of the line and can injure themselves, or snap the leash. You have zero control over a vet suddenly sprints when he can just rip the leash along. People panic and get their fingers caught up in them, which can result in fractures, degloving, and even amputation. They are a tripping hazard, especially indoors.
The plastic handle makes a scary loud sound of its dragging behind a nervous dog.
Can cause rope burn on your pet, etc. Sure, use it out on the trail where contact with others is limited, or if you have a very well-trained dog. But do not bring that damn thing to the clinic. Please. Chain leashes are very abrasive. I get that some dogs chew through leashes, and I'm sure that owners are taking the steps to correct that action.
But dear Lord,
they destroy hands and again lead to situations where you have less control. They are painful if a dog wraps around you. They are abrasive. Took a chunk out of the clinic wall when a dog sprinted around a corner wearing one. They are added weight to your dog's neck.
Speaking of,
chain slip leads should only be used by professionals who have experience with them, and with very little weight. Most people don't, which is good. There are some leashes out there that are chain wrapped in nylon, so you get the strength of the chain for dogs who chew leashes,
but give you the opportunity grab something other than the handle.
unless you like your skin being ripped off your hand, or perhaps a bitter spray on the leash. The trainers on here will be very helpful in regards to correcting that behavior and de-stressing your dog. I'm sure they'll assist in any questions. I am a vet. I wish people just even had a basic understanding of dog or cat body language. FFs. The number of videos posted on Reddit of animals in distress and it's tagged as, "Oh my little Fluffster is so cute when he plays," or whatever makes my blood boil. That kind of moronic ignorance is what gets children bit by the pet dog or the cat who is now dying, because the owner had no idea of the signs 4 months ago. Edit. Cheers for the awards, kind strangers. I don't know why you did, but you are cool, peeps grin. Vet in the UK -1. The sounds that flat-faced dogs make are not normal too. There is no such thing as she is just a bit stiff, but she is not in pain. It's just old age. If your dog, cat is stiff or slowing down on walks, then it's very likely they are in pain. 3.
On the same note, pain relief is important.
Yes, all pain relief has side effects just like all human medication does. But please don't let your pet suffer for. If your vet says your dog, cat needs a dental, then please follow their advice. I've seen some horrendous mouths covered in calculus with teeth falling out, and the poor animals had to put up with it for years because she is still eating, so her teeth must be fine.
If you see a stray cat with a cleanly clipped ear tip, do not take it to a shelter.
Either take it home to live with you or leave it on the street. Clipped ears mean they were caught, neutered, spayed by the city, county, and released. This is a way to control cat populations and, over time, protect wildlife. They compete for resources with fertile cats without adding to the population. In many cities, stray cats are more likely to be adopted from the street than in the shelter. If the cat is taken to a shelter, they cannot legally release it because it is now abandoning the animal. That cat will be euthanized, or at best absorbs resources until it finds a home. Don't buy a dog only because you like the way it looks. Huskies and most sorts of shepherds are working dogs. They need lots of activities to be happy, and they often turn aggressive if they do not get enough of it. I wished that they understand that they have a live creature that need all type of cares, not just medical but environment enrichment, a correct and health feeding, and why not even emotional care. But the average pet owner think that him or just have a teddy bear or something. UK vet student here. I've been in the industry for a few years as an assistant. Here is my list. We are not out for your money. An average vet salary in the UK is 30 to 35k. If I was out for money, I would have become a human doctor instead. We make things as cheap as we possibly can. Please get insurance. Open a savings account. Be prepared. On the note of insurance, it does not work the same as your car or home insurance. Do your research. The only policy worth having is a lifetime policy, and take out cover for more than you think you need. An average surgery for a cruciate ligament rupture will cost in excess of £2,000. A simple cesarean is about the same. Diagnostics and bloods are hella expensive too.
Hundreds for blood tests.
Thousands for MRI or CT. I would not take out a policy for under 5k, at least personally. Very little of this money goes into our own pockets. Research the company. Some are far more reluctant and slow to pay out than others. Often, you will have to front the cost yourself and then claim back on insurance. If you can't afford insurance,
open a savings account.
Prevention is safer, cheaper, easier, and generally much nicer than cure. If you can afford to buy the £2,000 dog, you should be able to afford its upkeep. Do your research and your breed. What to expect and what it will cost. It is not a one-time cost or purchase. Pets are a privilege, not a right. Snorting is not cute. It's a breathing problem. A nail trim is not an emergency unless you have been neglectful enough to let them literally curl round and they are now cutting into your pet's probably infected
pads.
Yeah, I said it. We know more than your breeder does. Trust us. We are trying to help you. It might not fit your
or their
narrative, but sadly the truth isn't always what you want to hear. Brush their teeth. Insurance companies never pay out for dentals, and poor oral health in later life can shorten life span. Natural remedies that have been proven to work are called medicine. You've heard of penicillin, I'm sure. Your older pet probably has arthritis.
Arthritis hurts.
Make comfortable changes. Squishy beds, short walks, a ramp or steps for heights.
We also provide
pain relief. Your female pet absolutely does not want just one litter.
You do.
We have enough homeless pets in the world, but if you are going to do it, be responsible and do it properly. But we would rather you left it to the professional breeders.
Very few pets actually have peaceful deaths at home.
They often suffer beforehand. Pay attention to your pet as they age. Keep in regular contact with your vets and nurses. And when the time comes and you have to make a difficult decision, know that outside of COVID times, many vets offer home visits. Insurance will often cover cremation costs. It can all be planned in advance to make it easier on you, and please be brave and stay with your pet. It's so much better for them. There are loads more, but yeah, no, we do this job because we care. Ripping your cat's claws out to preserve your furniture is absolutely disgusting and inhumane. Don't justify it by saying that at least you're giving him, her a good home. You're depriving the animal of one of the core essence of being a cat. Vet here.
Here's my best advice.
Condensed. 1.
Thin pets live longer than fat pets.
Google a BCS chart and make sure your pet has a visible waist and palpable ribs. No crash diets. 2. Dental disease is way more serious than you think. Get the scale and polish. If we have to extract teeth, and believe me, we would prefer not to, they will still be able to eat. 3. Get your pet a series of Cartrophin, or Zydax, or pentosan polysulfate injections when they turn 8. They help slow down the progression of arthritis and are safe and cost-effective. 4. If your cat is stressed at the vet, take home some gabapentin to put on her food before her next visit. She will be safe, happy,
and calm,
and the vet will be able to examine her more thoroughly. 5. Know what's toxic for your pet. Definitely don't have lilies in the house if you have a cat. 6. Discuss finances. Your vet wants what's best for your pet, and is obligated to recommend all your best options. But if you tell us what you can afford, we can usually work with it.
7. You deserve a vet you trust. If you don't trust yours,
find one that you do. 8.
Put your 24-hour vet's address into your Google Maps GPS favorites so you don't have to find it
in an emergency. 9. High-quality kibble is fine unless your vet tells you otherwise. 10. You can almost definitely give your cat pill. Ask us for tricks. 11. Be nice. We're human and we all care intensely. Even if we hate you, we probably love your pet. RVT.
Not vet here.
Just because you can't afford your pet's medical care does not mean we are horrible people for not treating for free. Vets' offices are not non-profit. Your pet's wellness is your responsibility. Quit laying the blame on us when you won't pay for needed care. We love your pet, even when they hate us. We honestly try to make them feel safe and comfortable. But what we have to do is scary and sometimes hurts. We don't think less of you as an owner when your pet is upset or gets aggressive. Please tell us if your pet has been known to bite, freak, scratch at the vets. Seriously, I'm still gonna love and care for him.
But now I have needed info to keep me and the rest of the staff safe.
Anesthesia is dangerous. Routine procedures are still risky. We do everything we can to keep your pet safe. But sometimes bad things happen. As your pet gets older, we need to see them more often. We are better able to help normal aging issues if we catch them early. So yes, blood work and exams are super important in older pets. Fat pets are not cute. They are unhealthy. One of my saying is, if this pet was as skinny as it is fat, we would call animal control. You are your pet's advocate. We trust that you know your pet's best, so if you think something is wrong, be the advocate. We need to hear you. Don't send your 16-yo with your pet if they have no idea what's going on and no way to reach you. Same goes for spouse. Most states have laws requiring a valid patient-owner-doctor relationship before prescribing medications. So no, we can't refill your pet's ear medicines if we haven't seen them 2 years. Even if you say he is having the exact same symptoms, vets can lose their license. Please don't be mad at your 5-hour wait at the animal Be glad your pet is a lower priority. Triage isn't a game you want to win.
We will happily take care of your pet's broken toenail.
Once we stabilize the dog in heart failure,
stop the puppy dropped on its head from seizing,
and sew up the dog that got attacked by its housemate. I know waiting sucks. And to you, your dog is the most important. But we aren't sitting around doing nothing while you wait. We are trying to save the life of someone else's best friend. So much more. I really love my job and the amazing pets and owners I privilege to work with every day. We're a team. We want to work with you, within your budget and level of comfort, to provide the best possible care for your best friend. My hope is that you want the same thing. To be on the same team. Don't declaw your cats. It's basically like cutting the top of your finger off, plus it can lead to infections.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.